What is your name and what do you do?
My name is Krueger, and I am the Advanced Health in the Real World, Sports Medicine 1 and Sports Medicine 2 instructor.
What inspired you to become a health teacher?
What inspired me to be a health teacher? Well, I was actually going to be, how much time do you have? Because I was actually an athletic trainer, and that's how I got in the education field. And in order to be an athletic trainer when I was going to school, college, is you had to become a teacher because that's where all the jobs for athletic trainers was in the high school. And so my background, I have 3 bachelor's degrees in athletic training and health and physical education, which is kinesiology now. And so I was never a good high school student, and I didn't like school very well. But when they made me teach or start teaching, I fell in love with it, and it was great. And I've just always liked how the body works and athletic performance and health. Health is they're similar topics. So in order to get those 3 degrees, you only had to take a few extra classes to end up with all of those.
How do you define health in the context of education, and how does this influence your teaching?
How do I define health? Maybe we should ask somebody that already's been in there. You remember? Okay, here's how and I'm talking to everybody because you're probably in my class. What health really is the word health just means this whole person, not just being physically fit or not being sick, it's this whole person. So it talks about your physical health, but your mental health and our emotional health and our social health, but really, really important, our spiritual health. So that's what makes this whole person. So if you can't be a whole person, you really lack and you're missing something in your life, and hopefully it's none of those. But that's what's inspired me. I see so much emotional pain, in the world, just seeing how we just grow up anymore and the different stuff going on. The physical stuff they all help each other. They all overlap. And so if you're not healthy in all areas, then you're really lacking in health. So your health is not good. But I like all of them. I like the physical health, but the emotional health, you'll see how many people deal in their relationships and how many people struggle in their life because they're not emotionally healthy. And then spiritually healthy, I think a lot of people don't realize how much God cares for them and loves them, and being able to count on that. So it just gives you so much comfort. But there's so much to health. That's why you could teach it for a long time.
What is the most important lesson you hope students take away from your class?
The most important one? Well, we're at a public school, but I'll tell you that God loves you and that Jesus died for you. And that's, even though we don't talk about that a whole lot in class or emphasize that, I hope they get that. That's the most important, is to take care of yourself and do the right things. That's why we're really hoping in health. Because when we talk about health, we said our biggest deal is to be able to make wise choices and decisions for ourselves throughout life, if we make wise decisions and be able to understand when we need help. We can't do everything ourselves, and too many people don't reach out for help. It can be a little bit of help. It can be a lot of help. I have a lot of drug addicts in my family. I have a lot of suicide in my family. I've got a lot of issues that way you can see. And the most important one is just to make sure you take care of yourself in all those areas so you can have a fulfilling life.
What advice would you give to someone who is interested in becoming a health educator?
Being a health educator, what advice? You got to have a passion. You got to love what you're doing. I think I like what I'm doing, and I love kids. And so, I think it's all about passion, being able to express that, and then maybe to overlay that with other things that you're trying to do, and just kind of show it in your life.
How do you approach teaching about the long-term consequences of unhealthy habits like smoking or poor nutrition?
Oh, that's what's bad. That's what's hard to teach high school kids, because you haven't lived very long. So you don't know what long-term effects are. You haven't lived long enough to have long-term effects. You know, those of you that are vaping, idiots, right, haven't lived long enough to know what an addiction is. There's a few of us, few kids in high school that are addicted to certain things, but they haven't got to that point yet. Whether it's alcohol, or whether it's smoking, or whether it's not eating right. If you don't eat right, first, when you're young, you're pretty healthy to start with. So it takes a long time for that to show up. So if it doesn't show up, it's hard for them to get interested in something that's not affecting them right now. What we call that cumulative is everything adds up together. It adds up, it adds up, it adds up, adds up, and pretty soon once you realize, then it's too late, right? My grandfather tried to give up smoking after he got lung cancer. Well, crap, he's dead already, right? You can't wait till you're addicted to give up alcohol. You just got to be able to not do it right now and understand that some of us is going to affect immensely. Most of us know that. Lots of us come from alcoholic or drug addicted families, and so you're not immune. As a kid, you're not immune to becoming addicted or having bad things happen to you. So the chronic stuff, the long-term stuff, is hard because it takes some time to notice it. Somebody just died out in the hall, I think. Probably close. But we won't check on it. It's not that big a deal. There's ambulances.
What do you find to be the most challenging aspect of teaching health education, and how do you address it?
Well, just go back to your last answer. A lot of kids don't see that effect on them right now. So they don't pay attention. A lot of people, we come, all of us, teachers included, we come, but right, if we're in class, sometimes it's boring. Sometimes classes are boring. And it's hard to stay, as a kid, it's hard to stay motivated and become involved in that class for that long period of time. I know my classes, I lecture a lot because I think it's important that you understand what the book or other things are talking about. But that's my biggest challenge, is keeping people interested. Or sometimes they show up for a class because they think it's going to be easy, and then they just fall asleep. But we got a lot of good sleepers here. My sleepers. Yeah, there's a sleeper right there. There's pictures of my sleepers up there, over there. Aubrey and Genesis. But we got a lot of good snores. I'm going to invent the desk bed, because some kids can sleep really well in a desk, like a Peloton. You know about a Peloton? You don't know about those bikes? You can buy this bike, and it's Peloton, and it's got a screen, it's got a computer screen, and you can buy programs if you want to ride your bike in San Francisco or France or Austria or New Mexico. You just buy little programs, and that way you have some incentive to ride like you're really riding on it. I'm going to do the desk bed, where I'm going to have a desk that I'm going to sell as a bed, but you buy a subscription to the teacher's lecturing. Like you buy a subscription to my lecture, because some of my kids they can really rip them out. And so I'll be rich, but I'll have my wildest imagination. So, but if you want it, you can have it. I don't need it. I'm close to being dead anyway, so it'll be okay. Just Steve Krueger. Have a great life.